Scholastic Audio presents Stepping Off by Jordan Sonnenblick, read by Kirby Heyborne. If I could have paused the world right then, when we were still all holding hands in a line, maybe a quarter of the way down before we entered the deep shadow of the bridge, that would have been great. Even if you'd offered the option to me then, before I knew what was coming, I would have been pretty tempted to take it. If Chloe on my right and Ava on my left, frozen in all the potential of that day, just as that summer was starting up, could have been my eternity, that would have been a sweet deal. Looking back now, after all the things that have torn us up, all the things that have ripped my family apart, everything that's gone wrong in the world, and the unstoppable wave of deaths that was going to crash over Ava first and knock me down less than a year later, pushing that button would be the simplest decision in the world. But you can't really protect anybody from the future. You can count down, hold hands, and brace yourselves the best you can, but that isn't the same thing as a guarantee. We learned that the hard way when my left foot got tangled up in Ava's. We both tried to pull our feet apart, but all that did was spread our legs a bit more and make all of us tip backwards slightly just before we hit the water. By the way, I've done the math since then on a physics calculator I found online. A person falling 40 feet reaches a speed of over 34 miles per hour at the time of impact. So you can see why all the older kids emphasized the parts about wearing sneakers, landing in a vertical position, and keeping one's legs together. We managed to keep our sneakers on, so hey, that was a plus. We found out how much the other stuff mattered when we went kasplat against the surface of the lake at a respectable automotive speed. The first thing I felt was a tremendous slap against the backs of my thighs and my lower back. Then I shot forward and down in the water diagonally as dirty lake water shot up my nostrils. Somewhere along the way, I let go of everybody's hands. I was stunned for a moment, and then I realized I had to swim. I could see the light above me, so I kicked for the surface, which must have been about 10 feet above me. I came up, sputtering, and spat out a mixture of silty water and blood. Apparently, I had bitten my cheek. Also, I was becoming increasingly aware that the legs akimbo landing had not been kind to my most sensitive boy parts, and a deep throbbing was setting in. Even more pressingly, I couldn't see my friends. I looked around frantically. Chloe was nowhere to be seen, but Ava was floating just a few feet behind me. She smiled when she saw me, but I also thought I saw a grimace flash across her face. "Are you okay?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "Bit of a rough landing." "We have to find Chloe," I said. "Leah, Jake, Chloe isn't up!" I could see my sister scrambling toward the canoes, although I was pretty sure Jake was still sitting on a rock filming. I turned to where I thought Chloe should be, in front and to the right of where I had popped up. Suddenly, I saw a bunch of bubbles break the surface. I swam over, took a breath, and ducked beneath the water, just in time for the top of Chloe's skull to ram into the bridge of my nose. Several minutes later, the three of us were all lying on our backs on the steeply sloped, sun-warmed slate rocks of the shore. Leah had brought me a bag of ice from the general store up by the top of the bridge, and then she and Jake had gone back up to get themselves some ice cream. I was pretty sure my nose had stopped bleeding. Ava and Chloe were comparing war wounds. Chloe said, "I would have come up faster, but wow! I had to, fix my suit first. I had, the worst wedgie I have ever had in my life. Jesse, cover your ears." By this point, I had a pulsating headache from where her head had smashed into me. It was like a whole throbbing party everywhere, from my nose to my groin. Good times. "Chloe," I groaned, "you know you're supposed to say the cover your ears part before the embarrassing part, right?" "Good point," Ava said. "By the way, I absolutely whacked the bottom of my boobs when I landed, and my ass. Don't look when I walk, my cheeks are probably bright red. Cover your ears, Jessie." "Oops. Chloe, we suck at this. Maybe we should change the subject before our rescue hero faints. He's really quite sensitive, you know." When we were little kids, we had all been able to talk about anything in the world without getting embarrassed. To be fair, Chloe and Ava still could. But sometime around puberty, which had happened for both of them way before it had for me, things had gotten super weird for me. Maybe it was because there were two of them and only one of me, or maybe it was true what everyone always says about girls being more mature than boys. But all I knew was that they loved to talk about stuff that would make me blush. Sometimes I felt like they were flirting with me. Sometimes I felt like they were competing for me. And sometimes I was so confused I just wanted them to stop, while also wanting them to tease me more.